Okay, so in this example, I am going to be trading the MNQ on an automated strategy back to the baseline. So similar to the flat baseline chart that we traded earlier manually, if you go look at the section on manual trading, you'll see the two charts with the 144 and the 88. Now this one here is going to have the Medina wick trader strategy, and I'm going to be going 5 entries per direction as a maximum. I'm going to apply that. Now I am seeing cyan arrows, so for me, or cyan bars, that's a good point. The price is at the 61.8 Fibonacci level, and we're at the oversold area. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be activating the strategy. So where are you? I'm sure I put it there. The wick trader strategy. Okay, enabled. Oh, I just never enabled it, so let me just do that. Okay, so if you start the strategy with it not enabled, it'll be in the pause mode. So then what we can do now is I'm actually gonna start the strategy right now. I've got a 3 retracement, a 10 target, and my idea over here is to trade this price back up to the baseline. So it's a trending baseline going in the other direction, going upwards. So below I have the other chart of it's an 8-8 DTB bars, and I am there we go. So that's the first limit order that's been put in place by the strategy. So let's see that being filled. So we've got a strong trending baseline going up. We've had multiple failures of the price going down. So even though it's been oversold, or sorry, overbought, the price has still pushed up. We had a small little divergence here, and the price went up again. Now we've had another drop. So my guess is, we're gonna. This is the machines taking out the stops. So we've had the price basically go up like that, take a bit of a dip, then go up again. And what a lot of people do is, they'll be buying over here, thinking that the price is still going to be going up. The price is coming down, and that is just to take out some stops, because that is just what the machines do, unfortunately. So a lot of people might be buying, even at different levels. So even at a level over there, and they'll have their stops below the last dip, which is over there. So at this point over here, there's definitely some stop taking over there, because you are looking at a decent amount of ticks from that high to this low, which is, I can change this again to 2 ticks. Let's see. Okay, so let me remove these drawing objects. Okay, so I've got up to, we'll look at the settings again for the strategy, but I've got up to 5 entries per direction. Okay, there we go. So those 5 entries actually were all taken, and they hit their profits. So the idea is now, hopefully it's just going to bounce around, and then go back up to the baseline. Then this whole way up, we're actually going to get profit targets, and we're going to get lots of trades hitting their targets. And just as an extra little confirmation there, we actually had an arrow pop up. You see, we had an arrow after that cyan bar. So that was pretty good. We've also had the momentum line very close to price. So, you know, before it dropped below price over there, so price was, you know, just coming down a bit. So this whole move down is basically the price, the momentum line just saying that's going to happen. Now what's happening is the momentum line is very close to the price. So we're more than likely going to see this run up. It's now in 3 positions long. It's now in 4 positions long. So the great thing about this is this is our buy. Okay, so we are $40 worth of ticks away from the target, and we are $30 of ticks worth away from the stop. So it's about a 50-50 at this stage with the positions. So this, as this bounces around, it's going to hit a maximum of 5 positions, and the limit orders are going to move depending on how according to the strategy's algorithm, and it's going to be taking profit, and the stop, it will be when the price hits the stop loss. We've got a slight dip in price, so it might even come down and touch the 76, or it might just break before then. It might just hover there and then shoot up. So let's watch that. So we had the price spike just even a little bit further, but we're still continuing to see these cyan arrows. So it's still showing a very good indication that the price is going to be going up. That's going to be even a stronger confirmation when the momentum line rises above the price. Okay, so this is an interesting scenario. So we have the momentum line now starting to rise just above the price. So we'll be seeing some stop hunting over here, down here, and we are just hoping, and we're looking at the momentum line to continue going up, and hope that this little drop is just a short little one, but the overall direction of this is showing a strong trend up. So price dipped a little bit further. So for some people, it's also a great idea to wait for these clear divergence and the price jumping above, or the momentum line jumping above price, and close to the bottom of a baseline. So you've got a much further run up in that situation. So that is also a good tip to really get full use of a back to baseline move at a relatively small risk, because we're right near the stop. So there's been a strong turnaround in price, and the momentum line has really taken off in the upwards direction, crossed over price earlier as we watched it happen, and a good clear indication that the price is really now going to rush back to that baseline. Yeah, so price is, it just hovered around a little bit. It's now really showing good power back towards that baseline. It's taken those targets. Now just entering a few more positions. So So back up to 4 positions. So that's the great thing about the strategy when you automate it and when you activate it, is as it's moving, it will take a maximum of the amount of positions that you choose, which is 5 in this scenario. It'll enter those 5, and it will take target on those 5 first before it enters more positions. So the worst, the most that you could actually lose on a strategy like this is if the price had to now go straight down and take out the stop, you're in 5 positions. But if the price bounces around, it'll take profit, it'll take positions, it'll take profit targets, jump in and out, and before you know it, you've actually got a lot of targets filled, and even if it does run to the stop, you've made a lot of targets in the meantime. Yeah, so we've had a few more entries and exits, so those positions have closed. Now we're back up to 1 position. So it's quite incredible how, when the price does retrace to the baseline, and when it bounces around, it just takes those multiple positions. So at the end of this video, we're gonna check how many positions were actually entered when this candle or when this wick went all the way back to the baseline. Yeah, so running beautifully back to the baseline. So there we go, so all 5 of those positions have now been taken. So it's amazing how these baselines are like a magnet for price. So I'm going to let this continue until it goes all the way up to the baseline. Last time I did prematurely exit the strategy or close off the positions when I saw a red candle. This time I'm going to let it run. If I see more red candles and I see the price just hovering in this position over here, then I will close off the strategy. But for now, I'm going to let the price run back to the baseline because we still have quite a few ticks to go. A good 40 odd ticks. Yeah, so we've got a good 49 ticks before we get back to the baseline. So let's see how it continues to open and close. So you see how it took a position, hit a profit, took another position, hit a profit, up to a maximum of 5, and it's going to keep doing that. So at the moment it's got 1 more pending position waiting, and that pending position moved up as you saw. Now the 3rd one entered, the 4th one entered, the 5th one entered. It just smashed through those targets. So very close now to the baseline. We only got a few more. So at this point, what I can even do, okay, so that's entered its position. So what I'm going to even do is I'm actually going to stop the strategy at any moment now. So I'll just let it work a little bit more. Okay, so we get into the top of the baseline, and we are getting to the stage where it's right near the top. So I'm happy to close it off over there and exit any limit orders that were open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on there, and I'm going to go strategy performance real time and view the results for that strategy. So we activated it first of all at this point over here. We activated it at this point over here. So if you remember back in the video, this is the actual point that we enabled the strategy. It took 5 positions, had a few profit targets, and then came around and then hit some targets over here. and then it just bounced, took out a whole lot of positions. As you can see, this section over here, you can see this section, this wick is where all the positions happened. So I've got the data series set that the 144 only shows markers as well as the 888, so it just hides all the data or the writing from the chart. Okay, so from that little session we made $155. There were 31 positions, 30 winning positions and 1 losing position, and the trades themselves were from 6:55 p.m. or a.m. sorry, to 7:39. So there was about 55 minutes of trading on that one, and to generate that, and that's on a micro account with 5 entries per direction, so not a huge outlay, not a huge capital needed for that type of position. So it just shows you when you enable the strategy at a good point. So in this case we enabled it when we saw the cyan arrows, or the cyan arrows and the cyan bricks, and it was a trending baseline going up. So all these positions were going back to the baseline, and that's how it worked out so well on that one. So I hope you got some good value from that. Try that on different size bricks. So if you're going to try it on the MES, maybe go down to a 75 brick. So a 75 brick on top, 75 or a 175, and the bottom brick you can go a 5.5 instead of an 8.8. So whatever you trade, just try a few different brick sizes until you find a groove, and you can even have multiple charts loaded. So you can even duplicate this in another tab, and for example, if you're looking at you can duplicate that one. Okay, oh, this is actually a pretty good idea. So by duplicating that tab and going into the data series, you can even try, if you want to go to a larger brick size, you can go to a 1305 as an example. And then once you've done that, you can again go and modify the ticks, the indicator for it. So that's another option. Now with this one, you see how on a much longer tick chart, there's a good indication that the price is actually going to be reversing now. So you can get this both ways. You can get the price going up like we did, and you can get it now as the price is going down. So if you go into your indicators now and you change this to a 305, because we've got a 305 baseline there, you could have the opportunity now to actually wait for a very good divergence on this, maybe have the momentum line drop a lot but the price spike up, then you can trade this thing coming back down again. And even if it's for a short period, you might trade it between the 61 and the 50, or the 61 and the 38, and then call it a day from there. So you can definitely trade it in both directions, and that's the way you go. So there we go. There is the 305 Fibonacci tool loaded. It's gone up to the 61.8. So at this stage you could activate the strategy and trade it back down. So there's a few different ways you can trade this. You can trade it up, you can trade it down, because sooner or later this baseline is going to break to the downside, and we've just had a temporary rise up in here. This one still could go up, but if you activate the strategy up here at the 76, your stop loss is very close compared to your target. But if this had to run all the way back down to the baseline, you're going to have quite a successful run of trades, and this could be $400-500 on the MNQ alone on one candle. And look how that is starting to go down. So if you had activated it then at the 61, you are starting to really benefit from those trades. So any questions, just shout out. This is a really awesome automated strategy to run. So just picking up the good points to enter it, and you'll get to figure this out once you play around and add it to a few charts and watch it for a while. Okay.